What's up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health and fitness and social well-being. Today, guys, I'm answering your questions.
I am the greatest.
Someone with power! Someone with power! Someone with dash!
Alright, so Brandon Salt asks, what exercise would you recommend to someone who can't afford the gym and hates jogging and running but wants to lose weight? Alright, Brandon, so the first thing to understand, man, is you don't have to do any exercises or any running or jogging to lose weight. If you solely just want to lose weight, all you have to do is be in a caloric deficit, which simply means, making sure that you're burning more calories than you're taking in. And the best way to do that is to just eat less. So all you have to do is, like I said, there's lots of calorie calculators like online. I have videos over how to calculate your calories, figure out what your caloric intake would be to put you in a deficit. And if you do that, you will lose weight. Now, if you're someone where you still actually want to be active, build a little bit of strength, build a little bit of muscle, I would recommend calisthenics. My last video was literally over calisthenics if you want more details on that, but it's basically just body weight exercises. Push-ups, pull-ups, body weight squats, everything like that. And be on the lookout because later I'm going to either sometime this upcoming week or the week after that do a video over like just how to do a nice at-home workout with minimum to no equipment. It's basically going to be just body weight exercises. So that's what I would recommend, because if you do enough reps with body weight exercises with very little rest in between, that'll be plenty for your conditioning as well, and you'll still be getting resistance training. All right, Marcus Wong asks, would you ever compete in a Spartan race or anything similar? Only if I had a bunch of friends who were doing it as well. So, if you would have asked me that question 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been like, heck yes, because I was really into I loved running a whole lot more back then, and just bodyweight exercise, and doing something like that would just be a really fun challenge. But right now, man, that just sounds tiring. That just sounds like, thinking about it just wears me out. It'd be something where I'd have to have a bunch of friends be like, hey man, we're all doing this together. Come on, don't be a punk, come do it with us. Then yeah, I'd probably be down just because I like competition, and if I have a bunch of friends doing something, I'm down to try it out. But that's the only way I'd probably be down to do it. If someone randomly just said, hey man, go do the Spartan race, I'd probably be like, nah bro, I'm good. All right, Vanessa asks, years from now, would you like to stay in Texas or move to live elsewhere? I'm really not sure right now. Growing up, I used to always say that I wanted to get out of Texas just because it's when you're a kid, you always want to travel and see different places. But I'm so used to it at this point, and it's not like I've really been to that many other states, so I really have anything to compare it to. I think before I could really answer that, I'd want to travel to more places just to, kind of get an idea of what's out there. But off the top of my head, maybe somewhere like California, just because it seems like there's a lot to do there. Okay, SC Kryptonite? I think that's what this is. Anyway, SC Kryptonite asks, how do you lose weight, gain muscle, and retain muscle mass in a healthy way? Wow, that is a fairly loaded question, man. It says here that you're a new subscriber. You definitely need to go check out some of my old videos to answer that. But in the quickest way I could think to answer it is, okay, to lose weight, be in a caloric deficit. To gain muscle mass, be in a caloric surplus while progressively overloading on your list, meaning that you're doing a little bit more each time, gradually increasing the weight. And then to maintain it, all you have to do is stay consistent in the gym and make sure that your calories are at a maintenance level so that you aren't losing any weight, won't lose any muscle mass. That's the very, very, very short summed up answer for that. Donderslag9 asks, what sport is your favorite sport? Oh man, that's gonna be a tie between powerlifting, which of course I'm a little biased towards just because that's what I do, and then MMA, mixed martial arts. Firstly, I don't know too many things that's more entertaining than seeing two guys or girls just really go at it. I don't know if that makes me psychotic or what, but I just enjoy watching people fight. I enjoy fighting myself, so that would definitely, that or powerlifting. Honestly, probably mixed martial arts like MMA, like the UFC, just because it's more entertaining. Powerlifting's fun to do, but it's not always fun to watch unless you're really into that. So, all right, K Moye asks, when is a good time to start introducing percentages in your weightlifting program? Or should you just continue to progress in weight-based as your reps increase with that particular weight? So that's a great question, man. So basically, it's a pretty kind of a loaded question, but all right. So in my personal opinion, the only time you should ever really worry about percentages, periodization, controlling your volume, your intensity, everything like that is when you're either preparing for something like a powerlifting meet or you're an athlete, which means you need to have times where you have more high volume training and then times where you have more intensity training. And the reason that you want to introduce percentages and periodization, things like that, is because you're competing for something. You want to be at the most optimum level you can be for whatever athletic field you're going into, whatever sport, whatever you're competing in. So it makes sense to introduce things like percentages there. But if you're someone where you're just working out just for general health and fitness, or you're just trying to get stronger and build some muscle mass, you can do what's called basically like just micro loading and gradual progressive overload. You can just do that over time, where if you're doing 3 sets of 10 or 5 sets of 5, whatever your rep and sets are, you do that. Whenever you hit that, you just gradually bump up the weight by the smallest possible increment. Both methods work, but periodization just gives you a little bit more bang for your buck because it's a lot more planned out with how you do everything. So even if you're not competing for anything, periodization and percentages are still a great tool to utilize. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just not necessary. You'll be fine either way. So long as you're progressively overloading and being consistent, you'll still get stronger. All right, Jay Connor 17 asks, how do you go about setting up a cut for your client week by week until they reach their goals? Guys, honestly, it's not that in-depth of a process. Once you calculate somebody's macros and once you figure out what that number is that works for their deficit, and, you test it for a week or two and see that they are losing, that pound or 2 pounds a week, you pretty much just keep consistent with that number. You only manipulate the macros on a as-need basis. Like, let's say they figure like, man, I'm still really hungry throughout the day, so maybe we'll lower their fats a little bit and up their proteins, just because protein keeps you fuller because it takes longer for the body to digest, things like that. But it's not something that you have to adjust every single week. That's a misconception that a lot of people have, that if you get on a deficit, that you have to keep lowering your calories every single week. Well, if that were the case, guys, you would have people get to the point where they're only taking like 1,500 calories, and that's obviously not healthy. Like, you stay consistent with that number so long as you're still seeing results. And then even if you hit a plateau, that doesn't necessarily mean that the number's not working. There's other factors that can go into it as well. So that's pretty much how I go about it. I stay consistent with that number, and as long as we're seeing results, that's what we stick with, and we only manipulate the macros as needed. All right, CB Fit asks, what do you do personally to tackle sweet tooth cravings? I eat something sweet. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but on a serious note, I'm assuming you mean like if, you've already hit your calories for the day and you sound like you're just really hungry, you want something really sweet. That's kind of a hard situation to put yourself in because, when you want something, you want it. What I find is better to do is make sure you already have something like that you can fit into your calories. Always leave a little bit of space, like 100, 200, 300 calories that you can use to just eat for whatever you want. I mean, that's the whole point of it fits your macros, guys, so that you can set your calories, set your macros, then fill it with whatever you want so long as you're hitting those numbers. So I think it's better to make sure. That's why don't restrict yourself so much. If you're on like a caloric deficit and you're only eating like, quote unquote clean foods, that's being really restrictive. You're kind of taking the whole point away of even tracking your calories. The whole point of that is so that you can eat more comfortably. So the best way to do that is not even get yourself in that situation. Just make room in your calories for things like that, if that's something you want. I don't really have a bad sweet tooth, so it's not really a problem for me. Like, my only like sweet craving ever is cheesecake, and I will make room for the cheesecake if I need to. All right, Jamari H asks, what inspired you to lift weights? Okay, so I've mentioned this in previous videos, but for those of you who don't know, I started off working out with just my body weight. Calisthenics only from age 11 to age 17. And when I finally started getting introduced to weights a little bit, my dad is the one that kind of got me started with lifting weights. He's a firefighter, so I go up to the fire hall and lift weights with him from time to time, but I never really cared about it because I was like, I already do body weight exercises. I'm good, I'm strong, I'm functional, I'm happy with that. And also because I think I sort of just had this mindset of oh, it's so much work, going and lifting weights so I can just work out at home, things like that. But basically I have an older brother, and if any of y'all who actually think that I'm swole or actually think that I'm jacked, man, no. My older brother, that dude is a beast, especially when he stays consistent. So around high school, he was on Facebook, he'd be posting pictures of his progress and stuff like that. And it's just the difference was insane. Because I've always been someone who's more focused on strength and functionality anyway. But to see just the difference in his physique just from lifting weights, that kind of is what kind of got that spark going on. Okay, I'm going to start getting more serious about lifting weights. So then, in high school, I had a couple friends that I would lift with, and it just kind of took off from there. Nothing drastic or special, just sibling rivalry really is kind of what got me into lifting weights itself. All right, Forrest Orozco, I want to say, asks, what shoes do you recommend for squatting? All right, so personally, guys, I love Chucks for almost all forms of lifting, just because flat, convenient, they look good, you look cool, it's a win-win. But if you're someone who wants to get involved in powerlifting, or you just kind of want to take your squat to the, I can't even say take your squat to the next level, because there's lots of like advanced squatters who don't use like squat shoes or anything like that. But my recommendation is either a flat shoe like Chucks, or a squat shoe. Like the squat shoes I use are Romaleos, and I pretty much use them just because I like how stable they make me feel. Some people use them because they don't have a whole lot of ankle mobility, and squat shoes help with that. I don't ever think you should use any form of equipment as a crutch. I think it should help benefit you and expand upon what you're doing, but it shouldn't be something that you have to use. Like me, I can still squat in my Chucks. It's just as I'm getting prepared for a meet right now, and I know that I'm going to be squatting in my squat shoes, that's what I use. So yeah, and there's other squat shoes out there, but Romaleos are really the only ones that I can say anything about, because those are the only ones that I've used. Other than that, if you've got a nice flat shoe, then that's perfectly fine for squatting. Just something that where you can really feel yourself pushing through your heel. All right, Crypto asks, if you could go back in time, what would you change about your nutrition and overall lifting choices? All right, so as far as my nutrition, I wouldn't change anything as far as like what I was eating, because first of all, growing up, I grew up with just a lot of home cooked meals. It was very rarely that I would eat out, and even when I did start eating out, it was still a balance. Like I'm never gonna go a day where like all three of my meals are fast food, but if I have a meal out here and there, not a big deal. But the one thing I would change as far as like just nutrition from the aspect of building muscle is I would have eaten a crap load more. Like, understand this, guys. When I first started lifting weights, all I ever was focused on was like just strength. So like progressively overloading, getting stronger, and being able to move more weight on the bar. That's it. I didn't really care about like calories or macros. And at first I didn't really understand anything about that. Like if you would have said like macros to me, I wouldn't have like really understood what that meant. So because of that, I feel like I always kind of ate, like most of my gains came from just normal body count recomposition, and then maybe from like being in a slight surplus, but I was never starting off just in a really good steady surplus. And I feel like I could have just gained a lot more growth had I taken advantage of like those beginner gains in that way. Like I just did my first official like for real hardcore bulk this from May to the second week of November. So it's like and I've been lifting for 6 years at this point, so obviously putting on muscle mass is a lot harder for me now. And even though I feel like I'm okay, pretty muscularly developed, I feel like I probably would have been a lot bigger had I been eating for size a lot earlier. And then as far as my weight training itself, I really wouldn't change anything. I'm fortunate enough to where I didn't make a lot of the mistakes a lot of beginners do. I always focused on big compound movements, progressively overloading, training my body equally with full body style routines. The one thing I would change is that, okay, so my first 2 years in college, I was at a community college, and they didn't have a squat rack. All they had was a Smith machine. And I figured, well, it's better than not squatting at all. So I spent 2 years on that. And I got to where I was, could easily hit like 465 on the Smith machine. Then my junior year in college, transferred, got back on a normal squat rack, and 225, like, felt like hell. It was bad, guys. Like I had to basically rebuild my squat form, and I also feel like I just really screwed myself out of like 2 years of really good leg gain. So screw the Smith machine. I don't condone it. I don't like it. But that's just me. That's my subjective opinion. I have, anyway, yeah, so that's all I probably would change about my nutrition and then, my training style. All right, Island Aesthetics. Dude, shout out to you. Love your channel. Love your Sunday talks, and you're really supportive. Appreciate it, man. Island Aesthetics asks, question, what are your goals for your channel by the end of this year? So here's the thing with my channel, guys. I'm usually the type of person where like I like to have goals. I like to have things planned out and structured. It just keeps me like, on track with things. But with my channel, I'm kind of sort of just having fun with it in the sense of I know what my goals are. My goals are to, like I said at the beginning of every video, educate you on health, fitness, and social well-being. And that's pretty much it. I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying seeing the growth. But as far as like, I don't have a goal as far as like, a certain number of subscribers. I think, it'd be cool to hit like, I guess right now I'm over like 550 subscribers. It'd be cool to get, if I could somehow get to like, anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, that'd be dope. But as far as my goals just for the channel itself is just to keep coming out with more content, Eventually, like I said, still get a better camera so I can have better quality content as far as like the workout videos and stuff like that. But collaborations, I definitely want to do a whole lot more of that. I have people, like I said before, who've reached out to me who want to do collabs, some smaller channels, some bigger channels. So I definitely want to do more of that. But overall, I'm pretty much just having fun with it, guys. I'm just having fun with it, enjoying spreading the knowledge, and just enjoying the feedback, like seeing that it's actually helping people. But yeah, I don't necessarily have a goal as far as like, oh, I want to hit this many subs by this point. I'm kind of just enjoying the process. I'm all about that, and that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. All right, Juan Ruiz asks, can you give us any tips or reminders you have or do daily that benefit your fitness life? Yeah, man. Track what you do. Like in the gym, track your workouts. Write down what you're doing. Write down how many sets you're doing, how many reps, how much weight. Just because doing that makes it a lot easier to progressively overload. Because anytime you go to the gym, you can really just pull out your phone or your notebook and be like, okay, I did this last time, so I need to do at least this much this time. That's one of the most beneficial things you can do for your fitness goals in general. Like track that, track what you're eating, track your food. If you want, you can even get to the point, I don't do this as much anymore, but I was even at a point for a couple of years where I was even tracking like how much I was sleeping. Like I was just really anal about tracking any and everything that I felt could somehow be related to like, my fitness, my muscle mass, things like that. It was more just for fun, but the one thing I would definitely recommend is like track your lifts, track your workouts. That's what I do. Like you can ask me what I did today 5 years ago, and I can pull it up for you and tell you. All right, Jorge T asks, how did you become a part of Pump Chasers? How did I become part of the Pump Chasers brand? Basically, dude, buy the clothes and tag a lot of pictures. No, but in all seriousness, so I've been watching Chris Jones since 2012, so 5 years now. And I've always liked the dude. I like his stuff. I like his approach. I like that he's real. I like that he's always kind of, even with his new clothing line coming out and stuff, he's always been true to himself. He's always sort of like, he's a trainer first, you know what I'm saying? He's, and even from meeting him and hanging out with him more, he's really still about like just helping people, benefiting people, and I'm all about that. So when he had his old clothing line, for POG, like the About That Life and Time for Grind, stuff like that, I was buying that stuff back then. So when he started Pump Chasers, I still supported it. Plus, it's nice clothing for a cheap, affordable price. And, don't worry, guys, he isn't paying me to say any of this or anything like that. But, yeah, it's like I support the dude's stuff. So, of course, whenever I would take a picture and this stuff, I would tag him in it. But I honestly, guys, wasn't really active with like my Instagram or social media like that until October, like this past October. I maybe had about like, 200-300 followers, and those were just friends and families over the years. And I wasn't active on it all. I would maybe post on Instagram like once, twice a month, just 'cause I didn't see the points. I'm like, I already got a Facebook, so screw it, I don't really need that. But when I graduated this past May, moved back from Denton, because I graduated from University of North Texas, moved back to Fort Worth. I had goals. I had things that I wanted to do as far as just fitness and stuff like that. And one of the things I told myself I wanted to do was, hey, I want to meet Chris Jones. Like, I've been watching the dude for years. The dude motivates me. He's somebody that got me focused on really wanting to improve my physique, not just, my strength, but work on my physique as well. So I actually met him in October at the Dallas meetup that him and Christian Guzman had with Athlete, where you brought your can to help donate and stuff like that. So I met him. Instead of just taking a picture and shaking his hands, I actually talked to him, kind of told him what I was about. We chopped it up, and he liked what I had to say, I guess. Liked what I had to say, gave me his number, and kind of went from there. From there, I just kept doing what I've been doing, but I was just a lot more consistent with it. I would like upload stuff more daily, with the YouTube and Instagram and things like that. And then, a couple of his athletes, Brandon and Tony, they started following me. And then ended up meeting up with the guys and working out with them more, and just doing me and hanging out with them more and just being around them more. That's kind of how I got connected with Pump Chasers on a more direct level. That's pretty much it, guys. It wasn't anything that I necessarily was striving for, just trying to do. I was doing me, and hard work recognizes hard work. I guess that's the simplest way I can put it. All right, Sports Domination asks, what sports did you play in high school? All right, so truth be told, guys, I didn't really get involved with official sports in high school. I just fought a lot. Okay, let me make this clear. I wasn't someone that just went around picking fights or anything like that. Like, I'm a nice dude. I'm a chill dude, kept to myself. But I enjoy MMA. I enjoy sparring. I enjoy fighting. So that's pretty much what I was into in high school. It's just mixed martial arts. Whether it was officially doing it at a gym, or, people at high school want to get into it, that's pretty much what I did for the majority of high school. Now, my senior year in high school, I did join my powerlifting team, but we never got to compete because right before competition time, our coach quit on us. So I never got to do my first powerlifting meet until November of last year. September of last year is when I joined the powerlifting team at my college, and then November is when I had my first competition. But yeah, didn't really play any sports, just worked out, beat people up. You know how it is. Ethan Beckford asks, what is the best rep and set scheme for putting on overall size that has worked for you? All right, so personally, I've played with different rep ranges and sets depending on what I was trying to do. Like you guys see right now, I do a lot of things like 3x3s on squats and bench and deadlifts for powerlifting, things like that. I've done 5x5s, things like that. But honestly, out of all my years lifting, the thing I've done for the majority of the time, no matter what type of split I was on, full body, push, pull, legs, upper, lower, is just 3 sets of 10. Mainly because that's just what I got started with when I first started lifting weights. And it just kind of like was that good sweet spot for me because it's like 3 sets of 10. So you're getting decent volume if you're doing enough movement. And it's just a simple number to work with. You get 3 sets of 10. Every time you get that, increase the weight. If you don't, keep working up until you get 3 sets of 10. That's what I've done for the majority of all my years of lifting. Is more like things like that. Like I've done things like 4 sets of 12 and I got more into focusing really on hypertrophy, but 3 sets of 10, which is a good balance for me because it lets me, put on a good amount of muscle mass and focus on still increasing strength, increasing progressive overload, everything like that. So that's pretty much what I've done. And I did that for like everything, like my compound movements and my isolates. That's pretty much what I did for years starting off, is 3 sets of 10. Now, whether that's going to necessarily work for you or everybody, it just depends, guys. You got to play with different reps and set schemes and just kind of see what you enjoy and what works best for you. I'm all about mixing it up over time. All right, High Will Evan Fitness asks, if you could train one body part for the rest of your life and nothing else, what would it be and why? Oh, that's easy, man. Back. Definitely back, just because it's my favorite exercise, man. It's like I mean, first of all, I don't care what anybody says, man. I don't care, if you're a powerlifter or bodybuilder, neither, whatever, man. There is nothing cooler than just getting that lat spread on, man. Just feel cool. You feel strong. But no, it would definitely be back, just because it's just my favorite muscle group. Everyone has their favorite muscle group. That's mine. I like the fact that when you're working out, and I think I've mentioned this before. In fact, I think somebody asked me this in the last Q&A. I'm pretty sure somebody asked me this in the last Q&A. But basically, what I said was, it's the one muscle group that you can't see while you're training it. So you're forced to focus on just, feeling the contraction, really feeling the muscle do the work. And it's the fact that it's hard to fake a big back. Like, most people that have a big, aesthetic-looking back also have a really strong back. So it would probably be back. Now, realistically, it would probably be smarter if I picked legs, just because that's going to be more beneficial overall, period. But I would still pick back. All right, guys, so that is it. That is all the questions. I think there's about 17 of them. I'm pretty sure I went through all of them. Hopefully this video is not too long. I'll try to edit it as much as I can. With that being said, the 5 winners are going to be on the screen right now. So if you see your name on the screen right now, then go ahead and shoot me an email at TheSwolefessor@gmail.com. And you know what? Title the subject, I am ready. So that way I'll know that you are ready to get started. And basically, guys, the way that I picked the 5 is just based off the ones that were the most specific with their goals, because it's a lot easier for me to help you if I know specifically what you need help with. And basically the ones that I feel like I'm going to be able to do, give the most benefit despite doing it online and being, long distance. So that's how I chose the 5. I appreciate everyone that entered. I appreciate everyone that asked the question. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed getting a little bit more insight into me. If you did, I'll definitely try to do more Q&As in the future. Nothing consistent every week or anything like that, but every couple months or a few months, or whenever we hit a new threshold with subscribers, I'll definitely do another Q&A. But thank you guys so much. Thank you again for over 500 subscribers. I cannot express how grateful I am for that. It's just awesome. It's a great experience. I appreciate all of you guys. Remember, you're not a number. You're not just a subscriber. You're somebody that I actually want to help benefit as I help grow and benefit myself. Anyway, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a comment down below letting you know how much you loved it, how awesome you think I am, or how boring you think I am because you found out more about me, you don't like it, whatever it is, leave a comment down below. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.
I am the greatest.
Someone look